Hey there. Truly thank you for stopping by and giving my video your time. If you feel like subscribing, I deeply appreciate it. It genuinely matters to me. Now let's get started. Noah Grayson never thought the deepest cut would come from those he loved the most. At 32, he lived with quiet consistency, dependable, grounded, content in the life he'd carefully shaped. He didn't chase accolades or bask in the spotlight. He simply put in the work, gave his heart fully, and held loyalty like a sacred vow, especially when it came to Riley, his wife, 30 years old, the woman who stole his breath and later his last name during a 4th of July party 7 summers ago. Riley had a presence that pulled people in. Her laughter was unfiltered, her energy effortless. His parents adored her. His friends were certain she was the perfect balance to his composed nature. And for a while, they were right. But slowly, between the late office nights and quiet meals in front of the TV, something unspoken began to shift. What once felt natural turned into something brittle. Riley, who once clung to his arm at every gathering, now seemed distant. Her evenings turned into text exchanges with unfamiliar contacts, nights out that ended with foreign perfumes clinging to her clothes. Noah remained steady, at the office, at home, in their marriage. When Riley quit her boutique job, he took extra shifts without hesitation. When she was exhausted, he made dinner. When she said she needed distance, he respected it. Because he believed in their promises, their history, the life they were building. That belief shattered one gray, rain-soaked Sunday when she left her phone on the counter and stepped into the shower. The screen lit up, and the name that appeared froze him in place. Eli Monroe, his best friend since college, the one who helped him move into his first apartment, his best man, the guy who raised a toast at his wedding, smiling like family. Noah never snooped. But that notification hit like a gut punch. He picked up the phone. And what he found tore his world apart. This wasn't just some flirty exchange. It wasn't a slip-up. It was a full-blown affair. Dozens of messages, photos, jokes they shared, coordinated lies, everything laid bare. His wife, his closest friend, his entire foundation reduced to rubble. Riley came downstairs, hair damp, humming a tune. Noah handed her the phone. One look, and the color drained from her cheeks. She didn't argue, didn't fake confusion. She just collapsed to the floor, sobbing. "I felt invisible," she whispered. "You were never really home." Invisible. So she reached for Eli. Noah didn't raise his voice, didn't lash out. He simply told her to leave. She begged, claimed it only happened once. But the evidence glared back from the screen, unfiltered, time-stamped, unmistakable. That same night, Eli sent a message, said he was sorry, said it wasn't supposed to go that far. Noah didn't write back, just blocked him. The next morning he told his parents, bracing for anger, support. Instead, he met something colder. "She came to us first," his mother said, voice soft. "She said she felt neglected." Neglected? By the man who worked himself ragged to keep things afloat? Who came home every night to silence and still gave her everything he had? His father only sighed. "People break, son. Marriage isn't easy." Noah's hands trembled. "She slept with Eli," he said, voice breaking. "And you're siding with her?" But their silence spoke volumes. They'd made their choice, and it wasn't him. He tried to rationalize. Maybe they were shocked. Maybe they needed time. But the truth landed like a sucker punch a week later, when he dropped by their house unannounced, and saw it. Riley and Eli, sitting at the dinner table, laughing with his parents like nothing had ever happened. Wine glasses clinked. Familiar jokes flew across the table. It looked like family. He burst in. His mother raised a hand, calm as ever. "Please, don't make this into something." That was the moment it all became clear. This wasn't just betrayal, it was exile. He wasn't just cheated on, he'd been replaced by all of them. He walked out of that house like a man leaving a battlefield. Each step down the porch was heavier than the last. No one came after him. No one called his name. And in that deafening silence, he finally saw things for what they were. They had all moved on, without him. The drive home was a blur of wet streets and shrieking windshield wipers. His phone buzzed, then buzzed again. Riley, Eli, his parents, again and again. He didn't answer, didn't look. The messages built up like debris after a storm. When he stepped into his apartment, it felt unfamiliar. The walls echoed, the air hung heavy. He sat on the edge of the bed, and everything inside him went still. Not a scream, not a sob, just silence, thick and suffocating. He didn't eat for days. Sleep evaded him for nights. Every time he shut his eyes, he saw it. Riley and Eli not crying, not sorry, laughing, toasting with his family. This wasn't just the end of a relationship. It was the funeral of trust, of loyalty. Her words haunted him. I felt invisible. You weren't really there. As if every late night, every missed meal, every sacrifice had meant nothing. As if love were something to be traded in the moment it became inconvenient. And him? Who had been there for him when he felt hollow? Who had stayed for him? Each time he asked himself, a new sharpness carved through his chest. Anger and clarity. One morning, just past 6 a.m., he stood in front of the bathroom mirror, met his own gaze, and said aloud, "They'll wish they had never turned their backs on me." No vengeance, no chaos, just a colder, focused resolve. He started with silence, changed his number, blocked Riley, blocked Eli, blocked his parents. No explanation, no goodbye, just gone. Then, he disappeared into his work. Took every project he could, worked late into the night, slept when exhaustion forced him to. Within half a year, his bank account tripled, and he landed a senior role at a fast-scaling tech startup in Chicago. While Riley played house with a spreadsheet warrior, Noah built something enduring, brick by brick. Mutual friends tried to stay on the fence, but to Noah, neutrality was just another form of betrayal. He cut ties clean. Until one evening, a message came through from an old friend, Brent. "Hey man, I heard everything. What they did, it wasn't right. I'm on your side." Noah sent back one line. "I don't need sides, I need distance." Brent never reached out again, and just when it seemed like he was gone for good, he resurfaced, like a ghost from a bad memory. But it wasn't Brent who knocked on Noah's door that still Thursday night. It was Riley. No heads up. Just a soft knock that broke the stillness like a whisper in a tomb. When Noah opened the door and saw her standing there, hair tied back messily, wearing a cheap perfume that clung too strongly, her eyes swollen and rimmed with red, he didn't flare with anger. He didn't feel anything. "Noah," she said, barely audible, her voice already cracking. "Can we talk?" He stood still, arms folded across his chest, not a single step backward to let her in. "I'm probably the last person you want to see," she said, words shaky. "But I had to come. I needed to apologize, face to face." "You already did," he replied, voice flat and cool. "You said you were lonely. Ring a bell?" Her face twisted with guilt. "That's not what I meant." "No," he said sharply. "That's exactly what you meant." She blinked back more tears. "Eli wasn't the person I thought he was." "That's not my concern," Noah shot back. "You made your choice." She faltered, staring at him, searching for any trace of warmth. He gave her none. "You don't get it," she said, defensive now. "You were always working. You were never really there. I felt invisible." "You weren't invisible," he said, voice like ice. "You just disappeared willingly." The words hit her like a slap. She didn't respond. "Oh, you want sympathy now?" he asked with a bitter laugh. "You lied. You betrayed me. And now what? You expect me to rescue you?" Tears streamed down her face, but Noah's expression didn't change. No softness, no pity. That part of him, the part that once cared, died the night they sat in his parents' dining room. "I messed up," she whispered. "No," he corrected, voice cutting clean. "You made choices, again and again, while I was out building a future for both of us." She reached toward him. He stepped back. "You don't live here anymore," he said firmly. "And I'm not your husband." She gasped. "You don't mean that." "I do," he said, leaning just slightly forward. "And I hope you remember this moment every time you think about loyalty, because what we had, you'll never have that again." That night, Riley left in pieces, just like he had once. But for Noah, that night marked a shift, not in heartbreak, in clarity. It was the end of grieving, the beginning of forward motion. His apartment didn't grow emptier. It grew still, serene. At his desk, under the soft glow of a lamp, a whiteboard bore goals and sketches, not for revenge, for renewal. He wasn't mourning anymore. He was building something new. Coursing Technologies was rapidly gaining traction. Noah didn't just pull his weight, he stayed ahead of the curve, solving problems before they appeared. Within 4 months, the CEO called him in with an offer, a leadership role launching a new division in Denver. He didn't hesitate. He canceled his lease, sold the car, dumped every last trace of the life he'd left behind. As the moving truck rolled out, he didn't once look back. Meanwhile, Riley's dream life with Eli was crumbling fast. The secrecy, the thrill, gone. Eli drank more now, said he was just stressed. Riley stopped going out. Realized she had fewer friends than she thought. Most weren't really there. She lived in a small, dim townhouse beside a man who barely resembled the one she'd chosen. The night she found him passed out on the couch, TV flashing, cold pizza on the floor, her name scratched out on envelopes. That was the first time she cried without pretending. She tried Noah again. A new number. "Please, just hear me out." Click. Blocked. That was the last contact for more than a year. In Denver, Noah became someone new. The hoodies were replaced with tailored blazers. He upgraded his car, trimmed his hair, got fit, not to impress, but to regain ownership of his life. He didn't flaunt his success. He didn't need to. It showed in how he moved, how he spoke, how he didn't chase approval. Women noticed. One in particular, Jasmine Taylor, a strategist at a partner firm, started appearing. First lunch, then coffee, then dinner. Jasmine was unlike anyone else. Intelligent, composed, direct. She didn't butter him up. She questioned him, made him think, and never once asked about his past. That's when Noah realized, real respect doesn't require you to reopen old wounds. Still, he kept a gentle distance, respectfully, cautiously. He wasn't ready for anything deeper. Then his phone rang. Blocked caller. He ignored it. The voicemail? Not Riley, his father. The voice was ragged, tired. "Son, I know we don't have a right to ask for anything, but your mom's not doing well. Thought you should know." Noah listened 3 times, then deleted it. He didn't entertain guilt, especially not from people who stood by as betrayal unfolded and called it staying neutral. But curiosity itched at him. He checked their profiles. His mother hadn't posted in months. Neither had his father. The last tagged photo, Riley and Eli at a brunch, 6 months back. No sign of him, as if he'd never existed. Then came a letter, real paper, handwritten, from his mother. "Noah, I know I don't deserve your time or your forgiveness, but you should hear this, even if you never respond. We failed you, not only by standing with Riley, but by ignoring the weight you carried alone. We called it neutrality, It was cowardice. Eli changed. He became someone angry, controlling. We see that now, and we're ashamed. If this is the last message I ever get to send, let it be this. We're sorry. He folded the letter and slipped it into a drawer. He wasn't ready to forgive, but he wasn't angry anymore either, because while their lives unraveled, his had finally come together. Then, another call. His old college buddy Kyle. "Man, you won't believe this. Eli got arrested. Domestic assault. Guess who he hit?" Noah didn't speak. "Riley," Kyle continued. "She was cheating again, this time with the guy next door. His wife found out and jumped her, broke both her legs. Eli snapped. Cops took him in. Total disaster." Noah felt nothing. No thrill, no justice, just a strange, quiet peace. He didn't ask for details, but Riley wasn't finished. 3 weeks later, an unfamiliar number lit up his screen. He answered. "Noah, it's me." Click. Blocked. That should have been the final word. But the messages flooded in anyway. Dozens, then hundreds. Apologies, crying voicemails, pleading texts. "Please. You always said love means showing up." Noah never responded, and he never looked back. "Now I understand. I see you clearly for the first time. You once told me that loyalty was everything. Back then, I didn't comprehend the gravity of those words, until loyalty vanished. I'm bruised, yes, but maybe we were always meant to fall apart and be reshaped." Even she spoke of her wounds. "I can't walk," she had said, her voice stripped bare. "Do you have any idea what that means for someone like me?" "You were always the constant, Noah. Maybe that's exactly what I need now." Noah never replied. Instead, he forwarded the message to his lawyer. By the next morning, a restraining order had been officially filed. It was direct, faultless, and without room for debate. Within the hour, the judge's signature sealed it. Riley was forbidden from reaching out in any way. As Noah descended the courthouse steps, something unexpected settled over him. Peace. Not because she was being punished, because finally, he had let her go. It had been 16 months since he'd walked away from Chicago. The wreckage of his old life had slowly started forming the foundation of a new one. In Denver, his apartment offered sweeping views, hardwood floors polished to a shine, and evenings filled with soft jazz and red wine. There were no arguments, no lies echoing down the hall, no shadows from the past, until the past found a way back in. Another voicemail, this time from his father. "Noah, your mother was taken to the hospital last night. Her heart. It's serious. I figured you'd want to know." He deleted the message without a second thought. But sleep wouldn't come that night. Despite having mastered silence, something deep within him was raging. His mother had let him down in ways too many to count, and yet she had also been the one who read to him every night, who made cinnamon toast when he was sick. She had been the only one in the family who ever tried to apologize, through that letter. The next morning, Noah booked a flight. He wasn't going to make amends. He was going to close a door. The hospital in Chicago smelled of antiseptic and unresolved tension. Room 312 held his father, now a shrunken image of the man Noah had once idolized. "You came," the man rasped. "I didn't come for you," Noah said. His mother, frail and faded, stirred gently. For the first time in years, she looked like the woman who'd raised him, not the one who had defended Riley. "Noah," she whispered, tears welling, "I didn't think I'd ever see you again." He said nothing, just took a seat. The next 40 minutes passed like broken glass, sharp memories, cracked apologies, the hiss of oxygen masking her breath. She didn't ask for absolution. She didn't beg. She simply laid it all out. Every error, every choice that had shattered their bond. "I saw what happened with Riley and Eli," she murmured as her eyelids fluttered. "Now I get it. You were right all along." When he left the room, Noah made no vows. But he pressed a kiss to her forehead before walking out. It wasn't forgiveness. It was release. Back in Denver, life moved forward. The side project he'd been nurturing, a cybersecurity tool for freelancers, began drawing serious interest. Investors appeared. Contracts followed. 6 weeks later, Noah signed a $3.4 million acquisition deal and secured a permanent executive role at the purchasing firm. That same week, Jasmine returned. Not for business. She was attending a tech conference and invited him to a rooftop mixer. "I heard about your app," she said, wine glass in hand. "Congrats. You're officially too successful to still be this emotionally unavailable." Noah laughed. "Still figuring things out?" She tilted her head. "Or maybe what you want is afraid to admit it wants to be wanted." He didn't respond, but he didn't walk away either. 2 months later, another door opened. Noah was invited to speak at a major tech summit in Chicago. There would be cameras, panels, interviews, streamed live across business networks. For the first time since everything unraveled, Noah Grayson was returning to the city not as the man who'd been betrayed, but as the one who had risen from it. He arrived in a matte black Tesla, tailored in navy blue and quiet confidence. The venue buzzed with anticipation. The crowd gathered. "And now," the MC declared, "please welcome the founder of Vaultway Systems, Noah Grayson." Thunderous applause filled the hall. As he stepped up to the microphone, he saw them, his father, Riley, second row. His father looked worn down by the years. Riley sat in a wheelchair, braces on her legs, makeup failing to mask the truth. She stared at him like she was seeing a ghost. Noah didn't falter. His speech was steady, composed, deliberate. He spoke of trust, not by name, but as an undercurrent to everything. "Security," he said, "isn't just about firewalls or code. It's about people, those we allow close, those we give pieces of ourselves to, and what happens when they break that trust." Applause followed. Riley trembled, tears running silently down her cheeks as her fingers gripped her chair. He ended with one final truth. Revenge might feel like victory, but peace arrives when revenge is no longer necessary. He left the stage without a glance back. Outside, walking toward his car, a voice caught up with him. "Noah, wait." He turned to see his father, smaller somehow. "She's gone," the man said softly. "Your mother, a week ago. I didn't have the strength to tell you." Noah gave a small nod. No tears, only clarity. "I said goodbye in that hospital room," he replied. That was enough. His father stepped closer. "I regret everything, son." Noah met his eyes. "I don't. Because if none of it had happened, I wouldn't be who I am." Then he got into the car and drove off, leaving them behind in the light of a sun they never truly saw. 3 months passed after the summit. In Denver, Noah returned to his rhythm. But something had shifted. He was no longer haunted. Not by Riley, not by Eli, not even by the words his father said in that hallway. He was whole. He ran in the mornings, sat on his balcony in the evenings, and began answering Jasmine's calls again. Their conversations grew, longer, warmer, more real. One quiet Sunday, she showed up with coffee. "Is this your version of flirting?" he teased as he took the cup. "No," she said. "This is me telling you, you don't have to keep pretending you don't want someone to stay." He didn't respond right away, but he didn't let her leave that night either. As for Riley, the messages had finally stopped. Maybe the court order had finally landed. Maybe she just ran out of things to say. Then came the letter. From Eli. "Noah, I don't expect you to read this. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I need to say it. I destroyed everything. You were like a brother to me, and I betrayed that. Riley wasn't just a mistake. She was my escape route, a way out of always feeling second best, always living in your shadow. And I paid for it. She lied. She cheated. And now I see exactly what I did to you. You'll never hear from me again. I just wanted you to know. I don't sleep well, and I don't think I deserve to." Eli Noah read the letter. He didn't tear it, didn't set it on fire. He folded it once, dropped it in the trash. Eli had been right from the beginning. Some wounds aren't meant to mend. They're simply meant to be buried deep enough that we stop feeling them. A year had passed, and now Noah and Jasmine stood in a winding queue inside a cozy bookstore tucked away in the heart of downtown Denver. Noah was there to celebrate the release of his newest book, Breachpoint: Lessons in Loyalty from the Edge of Betrayal. A woman stepped forward, clutching her signed copy like a secret. Looking up at him with curiosity, she asked, "Is this story based on real events?" Noah offered a polite smile. "Parts of it are," he said carefully. As they exited the store, Jasmine nudged him with a playful elbow. "You left out the juicy bits," she teased. "I told what needed to be told," he said with a calm shrug. "Sometimes peace lives in the unsaid." That evening, mellow music drifted through the apartment as Noah stirred pots and pans in the kitchen. Jasmine's laughter bubbled up while he shared a cringeworthy tale from his university years. And for the first time in what felt like ages, Noah glanced across the table and wasn't met by the ghosts of everything he'd lost. Instead, he saw hope, not dramatic or sweeping, but quiet, consistent, fought for, and real. When he lifted his glass, he didn't speak. But deep down, a silent toast formed in his heart. "To those who walked away, thank you. You made room for someone I never knew I could become. This is where the story ends. If you've made it this far, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for being part of this journey. If it spoke to you, there are more stories waiting on this channel. Until we meet again, be well, my friend."